Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sepang for the season opener of Zero Racing in its alliance with ESR. So ESR is now presenting us, and our field's a lot bigger, and wow, someone just nearly killed their Audi.
Eat shit.
With me in the booth, as always, Byron Dirksecki, purveyor of nicknames.
Word, I've got some new ones.
And with us is track expert Travis Wallace.
Correct.
All I'm trying to find out is the fellow's name on first base.
That would be who?
That's correct.
I just drank straight out. After doing my little musical intro, I just drank straight out the bottle rather than going back to my glass. I'm in true form tonight.
Do apologize for the little flip over there where you saw my screen. Unfortunately, the new race director still has a tendency to turn certain things off between sessions. And that was basically me going and turning them back on.
Was it porn?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have other computers for that.
Excellent. One's technically routed through Germany.
Yeah, here we are. So you can see the driver info gets turned off for some reason. There. Yeah, everything's back to... You can see the new look director, which is very cool. I think, anyways. I like it. It's a significant upgrade.
Number 13, Dean the Rhinoceros Reimers.
You'll be starting from P13 as the cars slowly disappear to take their grid positions. If I recall correctly, there's someone who doesn't join till like the last second.
They need to get down and do at least 2/10 of one push-up. But I'm not going to tell you which 2/10.
I agree.
Could be the top 9/10 and the bottom 7/10. I don't know. I haven't decided.
Starting from pole, we have Taha Mahil. And joining him on the front row is Paul Riccobene. We ride on board with Mark Klap Zool for the start of the race. Starting from 21st and last.
Clap for the Wolfman.
And they are
gonna be some
off.
Shit?
Paul Riccobene got off to a rather poor start off of the front row and has been swallowed up by the pack. Darcy Parkinson has definitely moved into second place. Leandro Cairol fighting with Steve Kasemets. And they're getting a little physical between the two McLarens.
Oh, rubbing is racing, boys.
They got wide hips for a reason.
Oh, eat shit.
Oh, and a big pile up there coming out of the S's.
Indeed. So Taha Mahil's gotten away in the lead from Darcy Parkinson, Paul Riccobene, Steve Kasemets, and Gabriel Bolteau, along with Benjamin Swarey, Simion Nacu, Wesley Stokes, Yevgeny Lazorencho, and Joe Racer rounding off the top 10.
Here he comes. His name's Joe Racer. He's a guy who races named Joe.
Everyone appears to have gotten off to a reasonable start despite the carnage. Everyone's it's only about a 12-second gap from first to last. Benjamin Swarey in the Nissan, I believe the only Nissan in the field.
That means he has an advantage.
If the Nissan's a strong car, yes.
Well, I mean, you could always cheat.
In the background, a battle between two of the Porsches, Wesley Stokes and Simion Nacu. Fight over 7th position.
Is it Nacu? I was just going to say Nacu.
I think it's Nacu.
It could be.
If we're incorrect, Simion, please provide the pronunciation. Simion provided me with the pronunciation for his first name and not his last name, which is a little interesting.
I don't know how we would possibly mispronounce Simion. I was going to start making monkey jokes like right now, but I mean...
We ride with Darcy Parkinson in the Chevrolet Corvette. Well, this is Callaway Corvette, technically, but of course. And then Rick, the model Martel. And Yevgeny Lazorencho sporting some front-end damage there. He's lost the bumper. And it looks like he headed into the pit lane to try and get that fixed. People are still very close together right now. This is a 40-minute race. With regular fuel and tire wear, there should be no need for pit stops, so if you have to pit for damage, it could definitely compromise your race.
Yarp. I noticed that Bo Stamper was having issues coming up with a name for his race team. I might throw my head in the ring and say perhaps Filthy Otaku Perverts Incorporated.
I was going to go with Bolteau Racing.
That could be.
And we have lost Darcy Parkinson at some point. He's slipping back through the field. Down to 10th place now. And there he is recovering, actually, from the side of the track. So, significant damage.
Boy.
Mike Magraken moving into the top 10. With Dean Reimers on his tail. Dean Reimers on his tail, along with Leandro Cairol.
Leandro Leonidas Cairol. Leandro, don't call me Caroline, Cairol.
Also in the mix there, Mark Klap, Zool, Roy Vas, and Lachlan Nichols. Bo Stamper is also in there. It's pretty tight all around. Yevgeny is the only man well off the back, having made a pit stop.
Jawohl. I don't think there's any way I'm ever going to think of Bo Stamper as anything other than German, even though I know that's not right. I'm sorry, it's just been movie history says you must be German.
Rick Martel has picked up 7th place, passing Simion Nacu, and we may have just jinxed both of them because they both lose a spot there to the McLaren of Joe Racer.
The double commentator's curse.
Dun dun dun! Oh, inside, outside. Nope, not happening.
Out in front, it is still Taha, Malih leading Paul Riccobene, Steve Kasemets, Ben Swarey, and Wesley Stokes now into 5th place. With Gabriel Bolteau there sporting a damaged front end as he falls backwards in the blue McLaren. That means Joe Racer up into 6th place, followed by Simion Nacu and the aforementioned Rick Martel.
Gabriel Bolt Thrower Bolteau, hailing from Argentina, I think. Isn't that the Argentine flag?
That is the Argentinian flag.
Yes! I have no idea what flag that is.
Moldova.
Moldova, of course. How could I forget the great populous nation
or
of Moldova?
Is that Romania? I don't think Romania. That's like it's the Romanian flag in the background, but I don't remember the Romanian flag having like the bird symbol there. Interesting.
He is from Birdland.
In the meantime, a little bit of contact between Leandro Cairol and Mike Magraken. Cairol moving very slowly, possibly recovering from... Oh,
hello.
Mark Klap Zool with a little bit of a love tap.
It's just a little wake-up hello.
And there were a couple of beeps in the background as this little annoying thing that I seek to kill is making a bit annoying. Mike Magraken recovering from an off there, rejoins behind Gabriel Bolteau, who is definitely struggling without that front end.
Well, maybe he needs to use a little bit more Bondo.
I think at this point he needs more than Bondo.
I see the track tips have helped through that particular section for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, Travis, well done. If anybody needs any track tips, please feel free to check the link in the description, which I'm good. Oh my god, everybody's dead.
John Pecchia losing a front end after a little bit of contact with Mike O'Leary.
KES with the run in, everybody dies!
And in the meantime, it looks like Darcy Parkinson has gone into the pit lane and emerged in last position.
I was going to hype up, Travis did a track tips and tricks for Imola, where you have to race Impalas. I think that's the rule.
Is that the rule? I'm not aware of this rule.
And if somebody doesn't provide the link in the description below, then they have failed at their jobs.
I will provide the link.
Hooray! I don't believe it. Oh my goodness, Gabriel the bolt thrower just fucked the guy right in the butthole.
Pretty much. Gabriel Bolteau probably fighting a little bit too hard in a damaged car, causing a little bit of hectic and carnage there. No real action in the front, but the midfield is pretty packed with action right now.
Also, Travis, I don't know if you... Hey, I see your thing blinking.
We lost Travis's audio.
That's possible.
Travis,
That's okay.
cannot hear you.
We can carry on without him.
Okay.
There he is.
There we go. Travis is
all
back.
right, good. Headset not. Had to plug it in. I am totally
You-
prepared.
You dumb kids, you dumb wireless crap.
Lachlan Nichols hunting down a top 10 position, perhaps in his McLaren. He's currently running in 12th position behind Waqid, Janjua, and Mike Magraken, with Bo Stamper right behind him in the green and black Mercedes. Leandro Cairol on a bit of a comeback drive. It looks like a spin for Lachlan Nichols, and that's going to put him well back.
Listen, this is not the club. Don't throw your ass out there like that. You don't want to see it, although I kind of do. But I'm supposed to not want to,
We got a couple of fast cars definitely out of position right now in the form of Leandro Cairol and also Yevgeny Lazorencho and Darcy Parkinson. So that definitely is something to keep an eye on as this race develops.
I'm Waqid on sunshine. Whoa. Oh, sorry.
It's got to be one of the more physical races I've watched here lately. Not
It's
even
a
10
little bit-
minutes in, and it has just been constant beating and banging.
There's been a little bit of physical, and a couple of damaged cars have added to that as
Well,
Waqid
that guy's
Janjua
dead.
takes a hard hit.
Giant steps are what you take. Waqid on the moon.
Simion Nacu putting the pressure on Joe Racer for 6th position. I also believe this is the battle for the Silver Cup lead at the moment as well. For those not familiar with the Silver Cup concept, the slower / less experienced drivers in the field are eligible for a second trophy called the Silver Cup, which is competed and scored points like a regular race, basically. So there's kind of a race within a race, sort of. A little bit of Inception.
I demand 17 races within one race so that everybody gets a trophy.
That'd be a bit much. And not everyone will get a trophy. We had 21 drivers this time.
Well,
We have lost a driver. I am uncertain as to who it was. I think it was Gabriel Bolteau. I believe he's not being shown in the standings anywhere.
I believe so.
So it looks like he has parked it after the significant damage to the front end of his McLaren. John Pecchia getting lapped by the leaders. I believe John has been into the pits for some repairs.
Number 3 in your hearts, number 3 on your programs, Steve Castanets Kasemets.
Dean Reimers in a fight with Leandro Cairol over 13th position. Looks like Cairol's had another off because he was further up the road in about 12th place earlier on. They are now running behind Roy Voss and ahead of Lachlan Nichols.
Travis, what would you say would be the advantage to running with no tires on this track whatsoever?
You would definitely be lower to the ground, which is good for downforce.
better wind resistance. Gotcha.
The downforce would be greatly improved, but the mechanical grip would be non-existent. We have lost another car here. I believe that is Waqid, who just dropped out of the race in his Porsche. If memory serves, I believe his kid required some attention during the race.
He had to Waqid the line.
Indeed. That line between being good dad and good racer.
Well, I mean, you just train your kid to race, and then you can do both.
That's true.
That's my plan.
That is my plan on the unlikely event I ever have kids.
Either that or just catheter everybody.
They'll basically learn how to race and play Mech Warrior, and that will be their life.
What if they end up trying to race next, though?
I mean, I'm not opposed to saying it. Mike Magraken putting the pressure on Mark Klap Zool in what is one of Zero's traditional rivalries. These two have shared the track and shared a little bit of paint more than once. In the meantime, Steve Kasemets is closing in relatively quickly on Paul Riccobene for second place. Those of you familiar with the red and white Audi, usually that is driven by Andy Blade, but in the Zero Series, it is driven by Paul Riccobene.
Because Andy Blade ain't good enough for Zero? Is that how that works?
He's not available for Zero. That's more the problem.
Oh, I see.
I do enjoy that Black Bull livery. That white, black, and blue action there.
It's alright. It's no Gulf oil.
Roy Vass a little bit off the track there, and it looks like Bo Stamper is putting the pressure on Mike Magraken for 10th place. Stamper is much faster in the straightaways, as a Mercedes generally is, but suffers from some cornering issues, although there it is Mike Magraken getting a bit wide, but retaining the position.
Is this where I make a joke about you being wide?
You may if you wish.
I just did!
Lachlan Nichols having a bit of a cloaking device moment. And Bo Stamper collects Mike Magraken in the booty.
Giggity.
Meanwhile, at the front, Taha Malih is running away with this thing. Just, you can't even see him in this battle for second place.
He gone. He is currently 6 laps away from second place.
Not that far gone, but very gone. In the meantime, Mike Magraken is rejoined in 14th with Bo Stamper in 15th position. They are now trailing the McLaren of Lachlan Nichols. And Dean Reimers going on the attack against fellow Audi Roy Vass. John Pecchia cutting across the grass there in his McLaren.
Check that man for Hispanic heritage. He may be cutting the grass. It's a wrestling reference. Don't be racist.
Mexico. John Pecchia, current championship leader in Division 3 for the Invitational Series, by the way. That is the battle between ESR and RLM, which we'll be commentating tomorrow.
Giggity.
Steve Kasemets still putting the pressure on Paul Riccobene for second place with Ben Swarey's Nissan in the background. Rounding off the top 10, it is Wesley Stokes, Joe Racer, Simion Nacu, Rick Martel, Mark Klap, Zool, and Leandro Cairol. And the battle continues between Lachlan Nichols and Mike Magraken.
Release the Magraken.
Indeed. And in front of them, a battle between Roy Vass and Dean Reimers over 11th place. On the comeback trail, Yevgeny Lazorencho is in 17th position. Darcy Parkinson is in 18th position. So they are still working to catch up to the rest of the field. Leandro Cairol, in the meantime, going down the outside of Mark Zool. That's some bravery.
Not too bad.
And it's 9th place for the number 9 McLaren from K-Pax.
It's a pretty good book. Would recommend.
Zool dropping back from to 10th, but can't really complain. He started this race in 21st position and has made a top 10 run out of it.
And quietly. And cleanly.
Mm-hmm. Steve Kasemets still on the tail of Paul Riccobene with Ben Swarey in the background. Ben Swarey, of course, former Zero champion. One of 2 in today's field.
Travis, what would you say would be the advantage of Ben Swarey's coating his entire car in pig fat?
Don't know about aerodynamically, but physically it would be slicker. It'd be a lot harder to put the bumper to him and spin him around.
All right.
I do hate to bump in, but this has become the battle for the lead as we have lost Taha Malih at some point.
He did.
His car appears to be no longer running, and it is now the race leader, Paul Riccobene, with Steve Kasemets on his tail.
Is this a glitch, or is this, he has been deleted from server?
I believe this is a disconnect.
Harsh, but fair.
This promotes Ben Swarey onto the podium as well.
Ooh, tasty.
Roy Vass going around in a bit there with Mike after a battle with Mike Magraken. Also, I may have had a video jump, so what's your timestamp, Byron?
24 and 8, 9,
okay,
10.
No, we're still synced. Just felt like there was a bit of a jump cut there for me.
Fair enough. Well, at least the automatic race director thing here will be keeping us up to date with the battle for first, which is unusual for the races we've been doing.
Indeed. Usually has a tendency to leave the battles that we really want to watch. Steve Kasemets still putting the pressure on Paul Riccobene for the lead. We have dropped down to 18 cars running, one of which is John Pecchia, who is down a lap and a little bit out of this race at this point. Simion Nacu chasing Joe Racer for the Silver Cup lead and 5th place overall.
I don't think that guy's last name's really Racer.
And a slightly banged up front end for Darcy Parkinson by the looks of it, as he's catching up to Yevgeny Lazorencho for 16th position. If we get a camera angle, you'll see that his, the Callaway logo is a little askew there.
I think he's just winking.
The car is just winking at everybody.
He's just giving high fives to people, that's what happens. He's just being very friendly.
So in his 0 debut, Paul Riccobene is now in the lead. I believe this is also his ESR debut in an official race, so congratulations to him. Steve Kasemets still on his tail in 2nd position. And then it is Ben Swarey, who is not really making any inroads, but we did see Taha Malih lose the lead from a disconnection, so definitely pays to keep pushing it.
Push it real good. And quite frankly, there is a large gap between 3rd and 4th, so...
Mm-hmm. Indeed, Wesley Stokes some 15 seconds away from the podium. In the meantime, further back in the pack, it looked like Bo Stamper made a pass there on Roy Vas, as well as Mike O'Leary getting past Vas. So Vas has had a bit of a problem. Yeah, he's slipped now behind Lazorencho and Parkinson as well, so Roy Vas has definitely had an off.
Looks like all you had to do was not crash, and you finished well here.
It's been a bit carnagey. Sepang is a track that lends itself to carnage, and I think with a little bit of over-exuberance with this being the season debut. Some drivers quite possibly putting their cars in positions that you wouldn't normally see as a valid option. Parkinson at some point has made his pass on Yevgeny Lazorencho. Oh, no, he's fighting with Lazorencho. That's what we picked up here. Both of these guys had to make a pit stop for damage and are now battling over 15th position.
There might be a little bit more. Oh.
It looks like Parkinson has gotten the job. Oh, no, Lazorencho's back in front. Go back to that fight. Now, as much as important as the battle for the lead is, there is a hell of a fight going on for 15th position.
Slowly picking up on the fact that the camera will literally focus, like on a real, like camera focus, literal sense of the word, on the person it's actually tracking, so that's kind of handy. Everybody else is slightly out of focus.
Well, also you have the little driver. You can actually see what car it's focusing on there. With the,
yeah, but I don't know.
The livery being shown right above Steve Kasemets' name.
Yeah, but I'm colorblind.
Fair enough.
I'm not really colorblind.
Pulling the Darren Till excuse. Gotcha.
No, he's just fucking retarded.
Ooh, that's a little harsh.
You can't tell me I'm wrong.
I didn't say you were wrong. I said it was a little harsh.
He's retarded and an idiot. All in the same go.
In the meantime, it looks like Wesley Stokes is losing ground to the fight between Joe Racer and Simion Nacu. He's appearing in some of these shots now, implying that this battle for 5th place might become a 3-way fight for 4th place in the near future.
Oh.
As a McLaren sandwich with Porsche bread may be a thing here.
It sounds crunchy. I saw a pretty funny meme the other day. Somebody's like, "Who's the madman that came up with toast? Who pulled some bread fresh out the oven, took a bite, put it back down, went cook it again."
Cook it again and at higher temperature.
Yeah, like who does this? Probably
Simion Nacu getting closer and closer to Joe Racer and the Silver Cup lead. And in the meantime, Steve Kasemets is still putting the pressure on Paul Riccobene, the race leader. We have extended past the halfway point of this race, 17 and change to go. In the background,
looking at their gap the past few laps, and it looks like that Audi has the advantage on the first half of the circuit, and the McLaren comes back on the last half.
Would make sense.
Should make it interesting on the last lap there if he can capitalize on the backside advantage.
Meantime, Joe Racer has lost a position to Simion Nacu, and Leandro Cairol going around the outside of Rick Martel for 7th place.
He's looking like a badass and passing on the outside.
That he does. It's a bold strategy. It looks like Riccobene has gotten a little bit of breathing room now, but it's still only 0.6 of a second. Rick Martel in the Gulf Racing liveried car trying to make a comeback for 7th position.
Rick Martel's going to win. He's racing in the Gulf Oil. He's going to win.
He's about 50 seconds off the lead, so I find that a little unlikely.
He's going to fire off that blue shell.
Maybe.
That's why the Gulf Oil. Gulf Oil's got blue shells. And orange shells.
In general, a pretty solid outing for Porsche. 3 cars in the top 10. As well as 3 McLarens in the top 10. Kasemets going for the move! Contact!
Yeah. Right in the booty.
Looks like he's going to give the spot back.
Ain't nothing wrong with the little bumpy grind except jail time.
Although Riccobene is very off the track, so... Steve Kasemets is your new leader. But it looks like he feels bad about it, and Ben Swarey is now in the mix.
Go, Bench Warrant!
Swarey up to 2nd place ahead of Paul Riccobene. Steve Kasemets is going to let them both pass.
Oh my goodness, Ben Swarey, best racer on the planet.
Ben Swarey in the lead at Sepang.
Can't stop, won't stop.
They are coming up to, I believe that is Roy Voss, the 17th place car up ahead of them. About to fall down a lap. In the meantime, Mark Klap Zool has got Dean Reimers and Lachlan Nichols all over him. The 2 Aussies chasing the Dutchman.
Lachlan landlocked Nichols.
Steve Kasemets rejoining, or retaking his position directly in the draft of Paul Riccobene's Audi.
Hashtag bench warrant did nothing wrong.
Now, I would assume that the Nissan will probably be... Oh, Lachlan
I
Nichols.
don't know if that's allowed. Is that allowed?
Maybe taking a little bit off track there, trying to get past Dean Reimers, but it didn't work, so bit of a null question.
Listen, where do you get deported from Australia to? Because, I mean, they already got sent away once.
Tasmania?
Pulling up, well, I was thinking Antarctica. Pulling shenanigans like that will definitely get you thrown in jail. And definitely get you deported, and definitely put on a ship somewhere.
You're forgetting about New Zealand.
No. We've established in the previous video that New Zealand is like premium Australia. You can't go up. You only go down.
This is true.
10-4.
They've condensed all the good stuff and put it in New Zealand.
Looks like Roy Voss has possibly parked his car. Ben Swarey getting a little bit wide there, and that opens the door for Paul Riccobene.
Don't do it, bench warrant. Keep it on lockdown.
That Nissan is sliding around a lot. I think that's it done. Riccobene back into the lead. Steve Kasemets is also through. Ben Swarey dropping back to 3rd position.
Now, Travis, what would be the advantage of bench warrant coating all of his tires with pig fat? Other than the smell. The smell? Probably.
It would reduce friction, but it would also reduce grip.
But it would smell delicious for about 5 seconds.
I mean, not really sure how much you want to be driving on pig fat.
I mean...
It would be more entertaining.
Yeah.
I
feel like the entire track in pig fat.
I feel like you have pig fat on the brain, Byron.
I'm just trying to go with the motif. I asked the pig fat question earlier, then we saw a guy do the slip and slide. I gotta keep going. God damn it. Nobody appreciates my art.
It's very appreciated.
You know, we got that ultimate battle simulator game?
Yes.
Somebody should do like an ultimate race simulator, and you get to do dumb shit like everybody races on ice with slicks. Everybody gets race on pig fat and slicks. Everybody has to race on concrete on ice fucking spike tires.
If any software developers are watching this video, please send royalty checks to Byron.
Correct. We'll take a modest percentage.
So it looks like Ben Swarey has settled his car after his moment and is following well enough.
Probably fucking spilled his mojito.
Could be. Ben Swarey moving from Corvette to Nissan this season. So this is his first season in the Nissan.
Should have gone to Datsun.
I suppose that's a question for you, Travis. How difficult is the transition from one GT3 car to another?
I think that would depend on what you're transitioning from and to. What
Travis is trying to modestly say is that it doesn't bother him a bit. He's that good.
He's just that good.
I wouldn't go that far. That transition, you know, I've only driven the Nissan once, and I cannot recall how it drove, but I'm assuming just from the size of that car,
exceedingly powerful car,
as the Corvette.
It is one of my least favorite GT3s to drive, despite the fact that you get to yell Godzilla when you're driving.
Always a plus.
Here he comes again and again.
Steve Kasemets still putting the pressure on the Audi of Paul Riccobene. Any other good battles going on right now? Not particularly. Everyone else is relatively spaced out. Yevgeny Lazorencho at some point has gotten back past Darcy Parkinson for 14th place. As the two of the faster guys on the grid still making their way back from their early problems.
What you're saying is that you're kicking the absolute shit out of those guys because you're so good.
Negative.
That's what I'm hearing.
Negative.
You and Bo Stamper are just absolutely trashing those fools, left, right, and center.
Considering they've made a pit stop and we haven't, and we're only, like 20 seconds ahead of Darcy? No.
The Rhinoceros leading the charge into 9th place in the BC Lions car.
He does have to get past the Great Dutch Wall of Mark Klap Zool.
Well, clap for the Wolfman. He will be known as the Wolfman Klap Zool. Because that song goes through my head every time I fucking hear his name.
I accept this.
Whereas he who shall not be named, all that goes through my head is the Klap. Which is a totally different thing.
Sure. Dean Reimers putting the pressure on Mark Klap Zool. Klap Zool getting a little bit wide. Door is open.
The Dutch Wall turned into the Dutch baby. He gone.
And the Aussie is through into 9th place.
I understand why you said the Dutch Wall and not the thing that holds back water. It's because you don't want to be all like offensive on YouTube. That's very clever.
Thank you.
And also, you don't want to imply that he might be a lesbian. Although, you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
I do not imply that he might be a lesbian.
And so, you know, it can be taken a few different ways. I'm just trying to cover all the bases here.
Lachlan Nichols is going side by side with Klap Zool now, so a second Australian trying to make his way through. This camera view is not really helping us.
No.
There we go. That is better. We can now more or less see where Klap Zool is in relation to the McLaren. Looks like he's going to hold him off for now, but if he skips wide on this turn, it's going to open the door back. There's another McLaren driven by an Australian on the hunt, and that's Steve Kasemets, who's been hunting Paul Riccobene pretty much this entire race.
He's on the hunt, he's after you.
But he's been unable to find his way around. Lachlan Nichols trying to go down the inside of Klap Zool. There is a little bit of contact. He goes wide, and Klap Zool switches back under him. More contact between the McLaren and the Corvette.
Ain't nothing wrong with some bumping grind, and then you go to jail.
I mean, that's only if it's not consensual.
R. Kelly insert joke here.
That's true. Darcy Parkinson has retaken 14th place from Yevgeny Lazorencho. Meantime, looks like Mark Klap Zool has gotten back in front of Lachlan Nichols, and we return to that battle. And this is playing.
Yevgeny Laserface Lazorencho.
This is really playing into the hands of Dean Reimers, who's pulling a little bit of a disappearing act up the road. It looks like Lachlan has gotten the job done again. Is it permanent? He's going very wide. Opens the door, but Klap Zool cannot stick his head in it.
Giggity.
Giggity, giggity.
Mr. Benchwarrant seems to be losing a little bit of ground here.
He is. I just don't think he has the pace to keep with these two. These two are the class of the field, I think, Paul Riccobene and Kasemets.
How dare you, sir? Benchwarrant can do anything he wants to. He's just being nice.
In the absence of Taha Malih, who dropped out of this race as the pole sitter. And further back, Darcy Parkinson and Yevgeny Lazorencho have both made their way past Bo Stamper, and Mike Magraken is next on their list.
Herr Stamper, you must hit the gas, yeah? Was it bumpers? The bumper stamper.
Bit of lag there.
Well, whose fault is that?
I mean, we do have racers from originally in this race 4 different continents, 5 different continents.
Weird flex, but okay.
Puts some demands on the internet capacity of the servers.
I demand Google Fiber be in every home except for maybe West Virginia because they're weird.
Have we lost our friend in the Nissan?
We have.
Good question.
We have lost Ben Swarey.
No, he was the chosen one.
Wesley Stokes has moved on to the podium. Everyone's up a spot. Mike O'Leary is about to be lapped by the leaders, probably in about a lap or 2.
He was supposed to bring balance to the force.
It's true. Also, Rick Martel has dropped down the field and is dropping at an alarming rate. He's down to 11th place. 12th place.
He did.
And he is gone.
He gone.
Little insider baseball. Rick's game crashed.
He's too sexy for this game.
He is a pretty solid result he was on there until the crash. Unfortunate for Rick the Model Martel.
What really happened is Rick took a look at the standings and went, I would have won this. I don't need to prove myself, and that was it.
Mike O'Leary getting out of the way of the leaders. Paul Riccobene still leading Steve Kasemets.
O'Leary got off to a really slow start right off the bat. I was kind of wondering why that is. Not to talk shit or anything, but just not good at starts.
Haven't raced him enough to know the answer to that question, to be honest. But I mean, obviously at the start of the race, there's a number of things that can go wrong. You can bog the car down. You can get the too much wheel spin. You could be just a little bit slow on getting the reactions to the green light going. So, I mean...
Yeah, well, from what it looked like, and I could be wrong, I could have been looking at the wrong car, but I'm pretty sure I was right because I was looking at the standings at the same time. But it just looked like he got off the line like 2 seconds behind literally everybody else, and he was already behind. So, it was kind of weird. I don't know if it's a connection problem or what.
That's another option, of course. Steve Kasemets still trying to find a way around Paul Riccobene, and he's been faster in the latter half of the lap, but it's not been enough to get him through. In the meantime,
I like his tactic, though. He's forcing Riccobene to go defensive, which is going to set Kasemets up for a better corner, trying to get him on the exit.
Oh, nope. Too wide.
But that Audi just has the grip to just hug the apex, even with less than ideal lines.
It really does. Riccobene's doing a great job of keeping it down, even though he's going in so shallow.
Like, I mean, he went into that first turn there exceedingly not on the line you want to be. Very defensive line, yet somehow did not even compromise the exit.
If he wins the race, I do have a cool nickname for him. If he doesn't win the race, I have a, pretty good nickname for him.
Excellent. We still have 15 cars running, which means everyone running is scoring a point for this race. Points from 1st to 15. Darcy Parkinson trying to go around the outside of Mike Magraken. Looks like Magraken got late on the brakes there. And that's going to open Darcy Parkinson up to a run down the straightaway, and he is through.
Put him in the wall.
Despite the pit stop, Darcy Parkinson has climbed back into the top 10. Magraken trying to come back at him at the final turn, or not the final turn. I thought we were a little bit... Oh, it is the final turn. I'm correct.
The pre-to-penultimate final turn.
And,
whoa, who's Snake Man in the background?
That's Yevgeny Lazorencho.
Yevgeny, why you drive like crazy bliet?
In the meantime, Paul Riccobene has opened up probably the biggest gap he's had this whole time. It's almost a full second.
Yeah.
Wesley Stokes is under pressure from Simion Nacu, the Silver Cup leader, for the final podium spot. And behind him...
With Wesley, I smell burnt toast Stokes.
Joe Racer in the background there in 5th position. Leandro Cairol, despite his misadventures, has recovered to a 6th place spot, ahead of Dean Reimers and Lachlan Nichols. Mark Klap, Zool, and Darcy Parkinson round off the top 10.
Be sure, kids, to make sure you're in 14th gear at all times.
Simion Nacu going for a move around the outside into the first turn. Wesley Stokes going defensive. Can he hold it? Yeah, I think he still has this. Oh!
Hello!
Simion reminding him he's there with a little tap.
Hello, knock knock. Knock knock, comrade.
Little Porsche on Porsche violence for this last podium spot.
FBI, open up!
Steve Kasemets did close the gap back to 0.7 of a second, but it seems to have stretched back out to about a second. I believe we're going to see Paul Riccobene pick up the victory here.
Yeah, based on where this battle's at on track, they should be right at the liner at this point.
He puts them in the wall, and they all crash, and they all die, and then 19th place comes up with the victory.
There is no one in 19th place running.
That's how epic it would be, though.
Simion Nacu hounding Wesley Stokes to the line. We are approaching the last little S, I do believe, before the two big straights that kind of dominate this track. I am correct in stating that. This corner is surprisingly difficult.
Yeah, he's going to have to get a good run out of here.
I'm a little interested as to why on the race director overview here that you don't have something like a race map with just like even just the leader highlighted on the racetrack somewhere.
You can turn that on.
Oh, he plays it perfect. Look at the undercut.
Simion Nacu with a beautiful move. Wesley's still trying to come back at him though.
Little bump and ground.
Little bump, and Wesley got it. Wesley Stokes takes the last podium spot. Ahead of Simion Nacu, the Silver Cup winner, Yevgeny Lazorencho has caught Mike Magraken for 11th position.
Yevgeny is going to put the KGB on your ass.
Yevgeny, of course, a man recovering from a pit stop like Darcy Parkinson. And the carnage has really helped those two out because they've established reasonable points paying positions despite having to make that pit stop.
Damn, that was a pretty good move.
Yevgeny is through. Lachlan Nichols across the line in 8th place ahead of Mark, Klap, Zool. Darcy Parkinson is 10th. Lazorencho and Magraken still scrapping over 11th place, but I believe Lazorencho's BMW will get the nod over the Audi of Magraken.
Yevgeny report you to GPU, you go to Gulag.
Possible. Bo Stamper will finish in 13th place on the lead lap.
Track's over here, Mike.
There is Bo Stamper. Last place car on the lead lap as Mike O'Leary and John Pecchia have both been lapped. Also the top Mercedes today. Mercedes with a pretty lackluster showing here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Paul Rock and Roll Express Riccobene.
Paul Riccobene wins from Steve Kasemets, Wesley Stokes, Simion Nacu, and Joe Racer, your top 5. Silver podium is Nacu, Racer, and Dean Reimers. And that is all from Sepang, for myself, Byron.
Get out!
And Travis Walls.
We'll see you next week.
Indeed. Actually, well, we may see you tomorrow because we're going to do the invitational finale from Imola.
That sounds... Oh, they're racing Impalas on Imola.
Not Impalas, unfortunately.
Oh!
In my defense, I'm going to say that tomorrow is next week.